Welcome to this new episode of In Charge of Your Career with Susanne Puerschel from Pointerize account. Today we are going to talk about developing capabilities that you think are out of reach. What does that mean? That means, for example, have you ever thought that you can't do something? This is not you. I'll give you an example. For example, I can't remember names. Or for that's how I am. I can't change. Those are all beliefs that we have that are limiting our capabilities, and we wanted to discuss that with Susanne. Welcome. Our timing
Hi,
is
my
just
love.
perfect.
I know, right? I heard
Yeah.
that. I can't remember names either.
Oh, well, it's a very interesting one because every time you tell yourself, I can't remember names, you're telling your brain, just forget about it. And you're reinforcing that. So you can't remember names. And
I keep telling yourself the same thing, right? So good to
well,
see you, my love.
I know. It's just like, what's happening? Ever since I moved to my new apartment, I feel like I just have no control of anything.
Yes, you are in control. Remember those words, how
I'm
powerful they
I'm
are?
trying, but I feel like the universe is really challenging me with, hey, here, have fun.
It's your
But it's
upper
all
limit
good.
coming in, darling. Yeah. Oh, good. Okay, so let's
It's
talk
fun.
about what you framed the topic. You did it so beautifully. How to
Develop capabilities that we think it's just not you. I actually have one that's quite recent that I overcame. It's not ballet related. Pardon me. I have always been struggling with rolling the R. I'm French from the north of France. We don't really roll the R. We don't even like do the really Parisian R there. It's something else altogether. And so when I learned Spanish, I didn't really understand how it works. People were like, "Hey, you just roll it." I'm like, "Okay," but it wasn't working. So I created something else, another sound that was okay. People could understand what I meant, etc. Well, then I learned Arabic, and the sound that I have invented for Spanish existed in Arabic. And I was a bit stuck because they have a rolling R. They had the sound that I thought I had invented, but they did before me. And they had the ha that exists in Spanish. So with Arabic, I was really a bit stuck because I had two sounds that were the same, but I got okay with that. And recently, last year, I was learning a new language. I got stuck as well because this sound is really important in that language. And I remember telling my teacher, but I can't roll the R. I've been trying for, I'm not going to say how old I am, but I've been trying for many years. The teachers have been trying to tell me, and I can't do it. And as I said that, I stopped myself because I realized that I was telling myself, you can't do it. I
Mhm.
was not really allowing myself to try. So I stopped and I said, you know what, to my teacher, let's try again. Maybe you can explain to me differently. Maybe I'm older and wiser and etc. And I decided to apply what I knew. Research, try to understand how it actually works, and then practice. And she gave me 1 month to get it. It took me a month and a half. I think that's fine.
That's legit. Well, congratulations.
I was
And
so
this,
happy the first time the sound came out of my mouth. It was very tiny, very small. I could do it like once in 15 times I was trying. But now it's
so
getting better.
this is the perfect example that when we reframe our
Mhm.
thoughts and our relationship towards whatever we want to acquire, whatever we want to do, it is so easy to say, no, I can't do that. I've tried before.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do it. It's just not going to work. I can't do the
yeah,
32-foot taste. It's never going to work. With
exactly.
that kind of
I will,
mindset,
yeah,
it's a surefire way that it will not work 100%. Like that, you can be totally sure of. You can practice as much as you want to. That's where the 20% skill, 80% mindset is the formula to success.
if I can
Really,
add
truly
to
comes
what
in.
you said, you're actually not trying as much as you can. You think
Yes,
you're
because
trying as much as you can, but you're not. You stop really, really, really early. Because I, like for my example, I know how much I've worked when I started telling myself you can do it. You just have to do it to do differently from what you've done before because it has not worked, but you need to find another way. I really looked everywhere. I looked everywhere on YouTube, etc., and I tried and I practiced a lot. But when I thought about how much I was practicing before, I can tell you, when you tell yourself you can't do it, you do not give 10% of the effort.
hmm okay, I lost my where I was.
I'm
For
sorry.
sure. Like you're not giving all that you have when you believe you can't do it. But we're looking at the topic developing the capability
Yes.
of something new, right? So it honestly, from my own experience, I can only say that mindset is truly everything.
Yeah,
It's like whether or not you believe you can or not, you
you're
can
right.
or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really all there is. If you're not getting your business up, if you're not in the company that you maybe want to be in, or you're
Hmm.
not having the technical skills, perhaps there is talent, but I believe that mindset is the bigger part. You can have talent and still not be great,
Yeah.
but you can have less talent and a much further developed mindset, as in believing in yourself and your capability, and that everything that you want to is reachable because you want it. So therefore, you can get it. And if you're just going to find your way towards that goal, that really is all it takes. I remember in school, there were two young girls that had
Hmm.
less than fortunate capability for a classical ballet dancer. And both of them rose to the, what was it, principal dancer status in the company because
See?
of their mindset, not
Yeah.
because of their skills. They found their way around the things that they weren't really great at, meaning like they didn't have the extensions in arabesque. Okay, well, you don't see it if you open up your hips a little bit, and just finding your way. And I think that is the number one ability that will give you more capability in developing something new.
Yeah. I really love your example because a lot of people think that at 10, 15 years old, you can already say who's going to be principal. No, no.
No.
And you'd be surprised that very often, I can't say every time because some people, you can see it when they're 12 and they get there. But as you said, some you think they are not really cut for it, and actually they rose to the top.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So how can we, when we're talking about, let's give a few steps on how to get there, because I feel like this is important, because you can say to yourself, oh, I believe I can do this, I can believe I can do it,
Hmm.
but you don't really feel it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say you want to, and I'm going to give an example of
Hmm.
a client of mine. She last year, we were talking, and she's like, I'm never going to get a job. I'm never going to get a job. I am already too old. It's the
Hmm.
pandemic. And I'm like, okay, well, with that mindset, you will not get a job. So we worked on her mindset and her belief in herself, and she actually scored a contract in a company here in the
Yeah.
US. Um, she is older than anybody else.
Which can be an asset.
Her, let's just say, yeah. Oh, I think it's actually a great asset. Her capability as just from skills
Yeah.
aren't like others maybe, but her mindset has become so much stronger that she can get wherever she wants to
Hmm.
with like really implementing that. Okay, first of all, really knowing what you want and believing that you can have it so it's not out of your reach. Does that,
Yeah.
did I lose you?
No,
Okay.
no, no, no. I'm just 100% focusing on what you're saying. I'm sorry.
No,
I was just
So
deeply
knowing
focused.
what you want. Okay. It's like, am I taking over? Okay. Um,
No,
know
please go
what you
ahead.
want. And sometimes we
Yes.
don't even know what we want yet, right? So
I
perhaps we
would
could
say that
start with,
step number one is know what you want. And that was the topic of the webinar we did last week with Ross Ridenauer. And the webinar was really focusing on being very specific in what you want, because very often we think we know what we want. And an example I used in that webinar was a case study of someone on the surface you think they're doing everything fine and they do have goals, etc., but the goals are very vague. They're too unspecific. And in that journey towards developing capabilities that you think are out of your reach, being very specific on your goals will be, as you said, the number one.
Mhm.
It's very
And you
important.
know what? Even if we are just starting in that journey, it is okay not knowing what you want. You can start with, okay, what do I not want?
Yes.
Because it's really hard, to really figure out what you want and be open to it actually changing over and
Yes.
over and over again. You are allowed to change your mind. So after, let's say, you actually zoomed in to a little tinier circle, what you would like, then the next step is truly believing that you can.
Mm-hmm.
And then you implement, okay, how am I going to, in my everyday life, really anchor that in, that belief?
Yes.
Because with the belief also will come the creativity to take the right actions. With that belief, you will have more energy to actually step towards your goal. With that belief, you will attract the people that will
Yeah.
come into your sphere to help you to get there, because you don't, honestly, you don't have to do it by yourself.
You
What you
don't
have
know.
to start with is belief in yourself. That
Yeah.
nobody else can take away or can take over for you.
And sometimes what can
Yeah.
help is to look at other people and notice around you all people who've developed, they developed capabilities that they didn't have before. So if they can do it, you can do it. There's no reason why, they can and you
Hmm.
cannot.
I was just listening to a podcast with Jim Quick. He's the brain guru. I don't know. Have you heard his name? He's very intriguing in how he talks about how we
Okay.
are not using our brain fully and how we can. And he had a guest
Mm-hmm.
on, and they were talking about the definition of success and how to get there. So he said, so till not too long ago, there were two ways. It was either talent or hard work. Like you put in your
Mm-hmm.
10,000 hours and you will be an expert. But he said there's a third method to success, and that is, let me get this straight. It is taking apart what somebody already did as a success and unraveling the
Yes.
process and then following the process. And I found that very intriguing because we really never talk about it. It's either hard work or talent. These are your two paths to success, or learning something new or acquiring some new knowledge, right? But there's also unpacking and going backwards
Mm-hmm.
to see
Yeah.
what works, what doesn't work, and then apply it to your own self.
Yeah. Reverse
Yeah.
engineering success. That's actually the
Reverse
top.
engineering. Yes.
That's actually the topic of the last couple of books that Robert Dilts, one of the neurolinguistic programming guru, I shouldn't call it a guru actually, father, wrote on leadership, and he's
Mm,
really reverse engineering a couple of really famous leaders. He's using famous people just because they are people we can relate to, we understand them, so he doesn't have to spend too much time explaining who they are and what they did. And it's really similar to what you said, is going through, okay, what are the key success factors for these people that led
yeah.
them to here? And he's used a very wide and broad spectrum of leaders. So not just business, not just people who became rich, because this is not the one definition of success. There's so many definitions of success. And I found that quite interesting. Something that popped up to my mind also when you were talking is that mindset that there are only two ways to success, talent and hard work. I am still puzzled by that talent. What do people think talent mean?
Hmm.
Is it something
Um,
that we were born with? Are we really born with? Or are people that we see with talent just people who have managed at a really young age to develop some of those capabilities that make them look like they have some kind of innate talent?
hmm.
I'm still not sure. I'm still not convinced personally.
So I'm going to take the State Ballet School Berlin as an example when I was there in 80s and the 90s. Um, we went through a 3-day, 10-hour audition process to see if we have enough talent, if we were flexible enough, if we were intellectually, um, oh, you know, far enough, if the family history had any kind of obesity or allergy or any kind of history. It was a 3-day process where we were eliminated or accepted all of the signs that we showed on how much talent we had. Okay. And that was, I know that was in the 80s, but when we're really looking into the world right now, isn't that how we judge at times? I'm not saying you or I, but what we're seeing, that talent is really um, something that we sometimes put over anything else. Not their
Yeah.
ability or their capability to learn and to adapt and to pivot and to be really strong up here. No, we're looking if they have the feet, the legs, if they're skinny enough, and all of that. And that is um, the threshold whether or not they're being taken into schools or
And here's
companies.
my question. How does any of this equals talent? Ask anyone who is their favorite dancer in the world and does they equate to those criteria? I don't think so.
Well, no, you and I don't think so.
And
You and
that's
I,
the
we
reason
know.
why I'm like, why are we saying talent? All of these things, first of all, criteria for entry in most of the ballet schools are not talent related. They're just criteria of what your body can do today at that moment. And they think that because you have that, then you'll be a successful dancer. And I know you don't agree with that. Um,
Yeah, but it's that old mythology, and this is what we're talking about, right? It's where
yeah,
where the development of the mindset has stopped, and the intellect, and
yeah.
what are the thresholds, and what were we asking for, and are we actually looking at what else is part of being a dancer?
Because to
Because
me,
if
that's
I
the
look
real
back,
talent.
yeah,
To me, the
exactly.
real talent is I show you a dance and you can recreate something very similar. You can give me the goosebumps when you dance. That's talent. Now you can
Yeah,
lift your leg up here.
yeah,
It's a skill, not talent.
yes. And that, there we go again, skill versus, I'm going to say mindset, because with the right mind, you also will be able to portray more of your emotions.
Yeah. Because for
Um,
example, if I use circus that I really love, so be mindful. I'm not going to use circus to um, talk about it like it's something below. I actually think it's amazing. You have a difference between being talented and being skillful. A contortionist that can do really amazing moves, they have skills. But the one that stick to your brain, they do something else. There's something above the just I can bend in crazy ways that we're all thinking, oh my God, how do we do that? And for me, a dancer is exactly the same. There are things you can do with your body. Okay, amazing. Those are skills and they're necessary for your work. But the real talent is how do you connect to your audience? And I think it's common for every artist. How you connect to your audience is the real talent, not the technique, which for any art, you need technique.
yeah, but in, we agree that that is not your number one um, skill to have, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
Like, I'd rather connect with the artist on stage on an emotional level. I'd rather have them
yes,
stir something up in me, and as you said, an unforgettable connection. And unforgettable connections are only established when we exchange or evoke emotions in the other person, than seeing the leg behind the ears. It really doesn't give me anything anymore. Never has, really, but yeah.
And I guess when
Okay.
we're looking at capabilities that we can develop, those are the ones we should look into.
Yeah.
How do I get
And
more
even if you,
charisma? How do I get more connection? How do I get on stage that I'm not so scared that I withdraw? All of these things are the capabilities that we should be looking into developing.
get to know yourself, know who you
Yeah,
are and what you
exactly.
stand for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Know what you want, set your boundaries, take care of yourself, love yourself. Yeah.
Such a
All
great
of these
program.
things. Yeah. It's such a great idea, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I think back, that was never fostered. Never was that even talked about, that is part of being an artist, right? It was all just about the technical skills. That's what we really concentrated on. And I mean, the world has evolved so much that I think concentrating on the person, who they are, what they want to become, what's inside their soul, finding their superpowers is the most important thing for a dancer.
Definitely.
Bar none.
Hopefully things are
Okay.
changing and there are people like you and I and all the
Well,
partners that we're working with that are going in this direction to support the dancers to be better artists, not better contortionists,
yes.
which is great. It's just a different job.
Okay. Yes. All right, my love. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we'll be live tomorrow again on the Point to
Yes,
Rise page, and we're
about
going to talk about know your worth.
know your worth. I love this topic. Can't wait.
Yes. Wear your crowns, ladies.
And guys, you can have crowns
And
too.
guys, too. Yeah, everybody. And your diamonds. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, my love. I see you tomorrow, 12:30, right?
Bye.